Good evening, I'm Taylor Thomas with the CTV News Update. A coalition of advocacy groups files a federal lawsuit to halt the Beltway and I-270 toll lane project. Sierra Club's Maryland chapter, the National Trust for Historic Preservation, and other groups filed the suit against the Maryland Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration. They say the project had an insufficient and error-filled environmental review that threatened two historic sites. The suit also claims that the project will increase air pollution and saddle drivers with new tolls while failing to address the region's traffic woes. County Executive Angela Alsop-Brooks met with Hispanic business leaders today for a roundtable luncheon. The venue was Casador Restaurant on University Boulevard in Hyattsville. Members of the Greater Washington Chamber of Commerce were on hand to meet the county executive. The business leaders also gathered to help celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. Aside from the smiles and handshakes, members wanted to make sure they expressed their concerns to county leaders.
Well, a lot of the concerns that the business owners have bring to their attention, especially in this area that we are in Langley Park, is the Purple Line. Purple Line has been disruptive for many years for a lot of businesses. They've been hurt with, it's the economic impact. Plus, we had a pandemic that impacted the most. So they just want to try to express their concerns, what they're looking for, or government, and also, what will be beneficial for both.
The Greater Washington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has more than 600 members. At a pretrial hearing yesterday, a judge ruled that prosecutors in the Roy McGrath fraud case cannot use vacation pictures and texts taken while his wife was in the trial. McGrath is the former chief of staff for Governor Larry Hogan. He faces 8-count federal indictment for wire fraud and embezzlement charges. He also is accused of securing a more than $230,000 severance package that is, and falsifying a memo that purports to show that Governor was informed of and signed off on the deal. The federal trial is set to begin October 24th. It's a big night for candidates running to become the next governor of Maryland. Democrat Wes Moore and Republican Dan Cox will take part in the first and only televised gubernatorial debate before the November 8th general election. Tonight's debate will air on Maryland Public Television at 7 p.m. Now, a number of polls show Moore with a lead over Cox. The most recent post was 5 days ago by the University of Maryland and Washington Post. It showed Moore with a 32% lead over Cox. All right, here are our latest COVID-19 numbers for our region. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed 782 new cases. The county's positivity rate is up slightly to 8.29%. 28 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours, and 440 people are hospitalized. Detectives charge a suspect in a Capitol Heights homicide that took place Sunday night. 60-year-old Robert Carter faces charges for the murder of 60-year-old Ronan Brose of District Heights. The incident took place in the 5300 block of Sheriff Road after police were called for a report of a pedestrian struck by a vehicle. Once there, officers discovered Bro suffering from trauma. He died a short time later at a local hospital. Police determined that Carter intentionally struck the victim during a dispute. He was taken into custody and charged with first-degree murder. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Coming up, a NASA space shuttle saves Earth from a possible asteroid impact, at least in theory. More details after the break.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Good evening and welcome back. Two Prince George's County school buses were involved in separate collisions last night. One of the buses carried children. That incident happened near Enterprise and Annapolis Road just after 5 o'clock. Investigators say the bus collided with a vehicle and that no one was injured. The second crash happened about a half an hour later in the 100 block of Harry S. Truman Drive. Again, the bus collided with a vehicle. No children were on that bus and no one was injured. Well, we now know the name of the construction worker who was fatally struck in Clinton last night. The victim is 56-year-old Huerta Melendez. Officers were called to the northbound lane of Indian Head Highway and Kirby Hill Road just before 11 p.m. Investigators revealed that Melendez was working as a roadway construction worker at the time of the crash. Police say one driver struck several traffic cones before hitting Melendez, who was in a closed section of the roadway. The victim was pronounced dead on the scene. Well, you probably didn't feel it, but a small earthquake hit central Maryland last night. The 2.0 magnitude earthquake occurred near Sykesville in Carroll County at 11:49 p.m. According to the United States Geological Survey, the earthquake was 3.10 miles in depth. The agency also says that more than 500 people reported feeling the quake, including some in the D.C. area. The Prince George's Fire and EMS Department is welcoming back two local heroes. Lieutenants Laniero and Verdadero are a part of Maryland's Task Force 1. They were deployed to help out the search and rescue efforts in Florida following Hurricane Ian. They are now back home for some well-deserved and needed R&R. The Council of Governments reaches an important milestone in cleaning up the area's region air. According to COG officials, results show that the D.C. region has reached its 2020 goal of reducing emissions by 20%. The climate report, which had several recommendations, included local governments deploying climate and energy action plans. The report also includes an increase in green or lower emission fleets, as well as residents utilizing walking, biking, and public transit more.
Efforts to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases also do a lot to reduce emissions of air pollutants. So we're seeing much cleaner air in the region, and that really benefits all communities. It's been a huge success story in terms of cleaning the air. A move towards cleaner vehicles is a big help on that.
King also says the nonprofit association is now working on a new goal to get 50% emission reduction by 2030. NASA successfully disrupted the orbit of an asteroid in a mission last month in a defense test against a potential asteroid headed toward Earth. The Double Asteroid Redirection Test spacecraft, or DART, collided with a small, harmless space rock known as Dimorphos. On September 26, NASA says that results shows enough warning with an asteroid deflected could be a way to save the Earth from a collision with a space rock.
Today, NASA confirms that DART successfully changed the targeted asteroid's trajectory.
The orbital period of Dimorphos has changed from a period of 11 hours and 55 minutes to a period of 11 hours and 23 minutes.
The team's going to be working to understand in detail the new orbit, the new 11-hour and 23-minute orbit. How out of circular is it? How elliptical is it? Is there a little bit of a wobble induced?
The DART spacecraft was launched last year and traveled 7 million miles to reach its objective. Still ahead, your CTV sports report right after the break.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug, you know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for ya. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
An adorable four-legged canine is looking for her forever home. Meet Chili. She's a 10-year-old spray Chihuahua. Animal Management says she's a playful and loving dog.
She would just require a senior diet because she is older, but she doesn't have any health issues right now. She's very healthy and just loves to be with people. She is very sweet. She's been our little mascot around here. Everybody knows her and loves her. She'll follow us around, sit at our desks with us. We don't even have to put a leash on her most of the time. She just follows us around and likes the attention.
For more information on Chili or any of her furry friends, contact Animal Management at 301-780-7201. All right, the Washington Commanders have dropped 4 straight games following a Week 1 victory, while the rest of the NFC East has done nothing but win. Against Tennessee quarterback Carl Wentz looked as sharp as he's been all season. Behind an offensive line, down 3 week, one starter, he threw for 359 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both players and coaches know that if they are to turn their 2022 season around, it must start in Chicago on Thursday.
I expect it to go downhill, though. And we're going to focus in on them one at a time. No matter what happens, we'll come out, we're going to play. And we got to get better. And it starts with me from the top. I mean, we've got to get better and, understand what our responsibility is.
I think there's a lot of football left. I think there's a lot of varying factors across our division, which is obviously a very good division at this point in the season. But at the same time, I know there's a lot of ball left. And we talked about it after the game. Unfortunately, we kind of dug ourselves a little bit of a hole. But we know where we're at. We know what we're capable of. And, we can't try and fix it all right away. Our job is to try and go 1-0 this week, and we got a short week to do that. So we're focused on that.
I think going forward, I feel good about what we have. It's just now a matter of putting it together. And we've got to do it one game at a time. And we've got to focus in on Chicago and going out and playing better. And again, as I said, it starts with me. We got to make sure that we are doing the things that we give these guys the best opportunity to show up on game day and play well.
The Washington Commanders take on the Chicago Bears tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. in the Windy City. Another 82-game season begins for Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals tonight as they face off against the Boston Bruins. The Caps begin the season banged up as forward Tom Wilson and Niklas Backstrom are recovering from surgeries. They haven't won a playoff series since they won the Stanley Cup back in 2018. Again, the Capitals take on the Boston Bruins tonight at 7 p.m. at Capital One Arena. In other sports news, Olympic medalist Noah Lyles returned home to Prince George's County to conduct a meet and greet with some young track athletes. It was held at the Prince George's Sports and Learning Complex last Friday. The event was sponsored by Noah and the Lyles Brothers Sports Foundation in the hopes of empowering youth. Let's get a quick check now on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy with lows around 60. Thursday's forecast cloudy with scattered showers and a high near 70. Friday, sunny with highs near 66. Saturday, also sunny with highs near 69 degrees. And now for the community calendar, come out to celebrate the City of Laurel's 40th annual Main Street Festival. Enjoy local bands, arts and crafts, that is, numerous vendors and so much more. The event kicks off with a parade this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. along Main Street. For more information, simply go to laurelboardoftrade.org. And that wraps up our CTV newscast for tonight. Join us tomorrow. Good evening.